If it hurts, game breaks, no get you know it up, put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, do the game, tap, this win it in. Press you again, we're here for the first man. Can't fight you never 6 minutes.
Rocky Top!
99% of the people in this world want to be great. Would you agree with that? Yeah, they're called wannabes. 1% work to be great. Drop the mic on that.
The depth in your front seven is really special.
Yeah, it is, man. You see the D-line rotating 4 at a time, man. And, our second level's got depth and
there's no drop off. That's the one thing about it. There's no drop off.
I think the cool thing is that there's genuine care and excitement for each other when the other guy's in and the other guy makes a play. Chemistry matters, camaraderie matters. And, this football team's got to continue to grow to get better. But we got to keep that part of it the way that it is right now.
Shoot, to keep our foot on their throat. When we go up big, I think still coming to the sideline with the same mindset that is 0-0. And, just carrying that out the full game, full 4 quarters like Coach Hop says.
Who got my back? I got your back. Who got my back? I got your back. Who got my back? I got your back. We play for another. We fight for another. Every fight, every play, every round. Hey, Tennessee on 2. 1, 2. Tennessee. Ball, that team ready. Ready. Ball, that team ready. Ready. Ball, that team ready.
Let me just say one more thing. The standard at Tennessee is to be elite on defense. This is the home of Reggie White, Al Wilson, Eric Berry.
But you know what? Let's talk a little Vols. That is not me trying to take any shine away from the phenomenal channel Talkin VAWLS and my guy BoogieBentley runs. So shout out to them. But let's talk a little Vols here.
Good Monday morning. Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's BoogieBentley. Hope you guys got your coffee. Hope you're ready to go. Hope you're ready to celebrate a win over NC State. Domination. I don't care what people say. Look at the scoreboard. All we got to do is look at the scoreboard, see that it was 51-10. However, some people floating around the internet, I don't know why I come on here and I rant and rave and I yell at people, but I do. I take what one person says on the internet and I rant and rave. Apparently, we are full of sunshine and rainbows around here, and it is doom and gloom. The sky is falling. This football team sucks. Dang it, it feels good to be back. It feels good to be the top 25 opponent, 51-10, and have people pissed off and angry. I love it. I'm here for it. Enjoy the ride, boys. It's going to be a fun Monday morning. Caner's in the house. We're going to talk about this football team. I don't have an agenda. I don't have any notes. We're just going to talk a little ball this morning. I'm tired of getting up. Why am I so fired up? Why am I so angry? You know, somebody commented on Locked On Vols this week and says, Boogie wakes up every morning, comes on here like he's had 14 cups of coffee. Maybe that's the problem. Let's see what you guys are up to. Maybe you guys can calm me down. Coach McGee is here. What is up, my friend? Tim Rice is in the house. Tony Canada is here. Matt Begley was here last night. He's back again. It's good to see him back in the chat. Cody Pope is here. Says that was the first game that I felt bad for the quarterback having picks. Instead of getting mad, they threw one. JJ Banks is here. What's up, my friend? Who else we got? Tim Ross says, yes, sir, Boogie. Chef Toy RD says it's Monday. All right, let's see. We've got a couple of super chats here. Scott Bennett for 5 says, cover charge. Love the morning shows. Great Monday respite. Smash the like button when you come in. Thumbs up, Boogie. Caner. Cigar. I don't know that we're going to smoke any cigars this morning. Maybe we will. Maybe we will. Robert Tuck for 2 says, fry up some fish. Give the dog a beer. Come on in. What is happening, Robert? Have you been up all night? Aiden Stills becomes a member of the channel. We appreciate that. That's how you keep the lights on around here. You guys want more morning shows. Become a member of the channel. Hit that join button over there. Right beside subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it. Let's jump right into it. Let's kick things off with Cain.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Kana, you don't look that bad for somebody that just woke up 5 minutes ago. How we feeling on this Monday?
I feel great. Like I said, I couldn't go on YouTube smelling. I had to hop in the shower real quick when you sleep through 3 of your alarms. It's been a long weekend, not a whole lot of sleep, but it's been a good weekend, man. I mean, a little business trip over there at Charlotte and put the whooping on the ACC.
I know you had time to get your coffee, right?
Oh,
you don't function without coffee.
Priorities right here.
Only time I really drink coffee is Monday, Friday morning shows. That's it. Every other day it's an energy drink, but on Monday and Friday it feels right with coffee. And I was fixing my coffee and I was like, I bet Caner is a black. I bet your coffee looks like tar. I bet there's nothing in it, like black sludge. Am I right?
Why do you think that?
I just when you drink 17 cups of coffee a day, it's not strong enough. It's like an alcoholic. You got to pour a little more, pour a little more, pour a little more to fill something on these.
My coffee is black, like my soul. Yeah, I don't put anything in there. I used to not drink coffee at all, and then I did morning radio for 5 years, and gosh, the coffee over there at the radio station literally was just like tar. I mean, it was awful. But you have to drink something. Those little tiny cups, you just got to keep chugging because it's so early in the morning. And ever since then, I've been drinking coffee. But yeah, you're right. It's black. I don't put any creamer in it. Don't put any sugar in it or anything.
I'm not going to tell you what's in my coffee because it's my wife is the one who has it's oat milk. I've got coffee with oat milk creamer. That's what we're rolling with this morning. Hey, we do what we got to do. I woke up angry. Apparently, I come on here and start yelling at the chat. I don't know if you were in the post-game press conference, and I always save it and watch it after you drop off the Monday morning show. I'm going to play the clip again. Josh Heupel has said this before. Everybody's throwing this around on the internet, on Twitter, on social media. Josh Heupel has said this exact quote. Why is he so pissed? Let me play the clip, and then we'll talk about it.
Let me just say one more thing. The standard at Tennessee is to be elite on defense. This is the home of Reggie White, Al Wilson, Eric Berry.
Were you at the post-game press conference?
No, I was actually – so while that was going on, they were bringing out Nico and Dylan Sampson and some of those other guys. So I was out in the hallway talking with those guys. I did hear that he said that. And that goes back – I mean, Boogie, if I'm not mistaken, man, I want to say Heupel's introductory press conference, he dropped the line, we're going to play elite defense. And, like, sure, I mean, it's great to come out there and say we're going to play a hard brand of football. We're going to attack on offense. We're going to play, an elite defense. That's great to say. And it took a couple of years, but – man, I want to say, I mean, everybody knows him for his offense. I want to say he mentioned defense first. And just like the run game with his offense, everybody wants to talk about, his quarterbacks throwing it all over the yard. It all starts with the run game, and 250 yards on the ground Saturday against a Power 4 opponent just kind of shows you exactly how much they love that run game. But, yeah, I wasn't in there, did hear about that, and obviously I think Josh Heupel is pumped and proud of his team and proud of his defense. Has probably gotten tired over the years of hearing about how his defense is holding them back, and it's good to see Tennessee having a really, really good defense.
Yeah, he seemed pissed off in that press conference. I'm excited to get into it here in just a little bit. Rocky Top time for 5 says, woo, locked on Vols, locked on Talkin VAWLS, attaboy EC, straight up coffee. Nothing in it at all. Yeah, you like your coffee where it tastes like you grab somebody's ashtray.
We're men here. We're men here. Yeah.
Let me take a sip. Let me put my
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the chat here. We're men here.
Okay. David for 5 says Josh Pate put up the NC State drive chart, and wow, seeing it on an actual chart has me pumped. Nico didn't play his best, and we will still put up 51. I was watching that right before we went live, and then I went and pulled up the drive, and it's punt, field goal, interception, punt. I mean, it's when I agree with you, David. When you see it on paper, man, it's fires you up about what this defense can do. Kaner, let's I was just opening thoughts, man. Opening thoughts on a dominant performance. Maybe it didn't look exactly like we thought, but Tennessee goes out, dominates. You can't look at like a true professional. There it is.
Hold on. Here we go, right here. NC State right here. Punt, field goal, interception, punt, fumble, turnover on downs, fumble, downs, punt. I mean, that second half, good Lord. Punt, fumble, downs, punt. Woo! I mean, is that good? What was your question? Sorry, I was trying to find that. Tennessee big wins big?
Just opening thoughts on the way that thing went down Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, I think it went down exactly. Now, I'm not saying I predicted, because I didn't, Tennessee to win 51-10. Really, Tennessee to win 51-3, or if you want to take Tennessee's pick six off, Tennessee wins, 44-45-3, whatever. I mean, I expected Tennessee to win by a couple of scores. I've felt that way for a long time, and so the outcome is not unexpected. The defensive elite performance, 100%. I was not expecting that. I mean, I was expecting Tennessee's defense to have a good day. I was expecting Tennessee's defensive line to wear down that offensive line. They gave up 9 TFLs to Western Carolina, making things difficult for Grayson McCall. I expected all that. I did not expect Tennessee to not give up a touchdown. That opening drive was picture perfect, right, for NC State. They're marching right down the field, 12-play drive, somehow only getting 29 yards. It's wild. Converting on 3 first downs, and then they didn't convert on a third down the rest of the way. I mean, Tennessee's defense made some adjustments. Tennessee's defensive line took over the football game, put Tennessee on the plus side of the 50 so many times in the second half, and guys went out there and made some plays. So expected outcome in terms of Tennessee winning comfortably, because I predicted that. But I did not see this elite dominant showing defensively. But you take it, man. I continue to say this, man. Your offense has a quote unquote off day, and that's how I'll characterize it. Yet you win by 41 points away from home. That's a really good day for Tennessee.
Isn't it funny to say? And I get it. Tennessee their offense did have but you got to put it in air quotes, an off day. It's like, imagine an off day where you go out and you run the football for 250 yards. That's an off day. I was doing a little research because I was curious.
Good point. Sorry to cut you off. Yeah, great point. I continue to say off day. Tennessee's run game wasn't nothing off about it. Dylan Sampson, that offensive line, Bishop. Tennessee ran the ball well. I guess the everything else was a little off from where they usually are.
Nico's 2 picks, right? That makes he didn't go out and throw it all over the yard like he did against Chattanooga. So we've set the expectation so high, and I was like, man, he still completed almost 70% of his passes. And I was going back and I was thinking, how many games last year did Joe Milton actually complete 70% of his passes or higher? You want to take a wild guess?
Probably Vanderbilt. I would say probably Vanderbilt, and that's probably it.
Connecticut, Kentucky, and Virginia. So 3 games. 3 games he can 70% or higher. Now, we're considering this, Nico completing 70%, that being rock bottom. It was terrible. But what was the theme of Friday on Locked On Vols? We talked about complimentary football and how people laugh about that. But sometimes this team's going to be able to lean on their defense. Sometimes they're going to be able to lean on their offense. And I've said it multiple times since the game on Saturday night. If both offense and defense show up, there's nobody in the country that's going to beat this football team. Period.
Yeah, I mean they're just clicking on all cylinders, right? And then they got some guys that can pick up other sides of the football. And yeah, I mean Tennessee ran the ball so well. I guess where my comments come in terms of off was like, yeah, 2 turnovers. I thought Nico was far from bad. Let me get that out there front right now. Do I think Nico played bad? No, far from it. Do I think Nico played really, really good? No. And he told us after the game, he's like, man, I'm so pumped for this win. I'm so pumped for my teammates. And then he was like, the only points I got were points I gave him. Then he laughed at himself. He's like, I got some work to do. I got some things to correct, but I'm really, really pumped. And that's the mindset you want from the lead of your quarterback and from your football team. So Tennessee ran the ball well. Can't turn the football over. And then, of course, you need to finish drives. Tennessee settled for too many field goals. And then another 2-minute drive kind of stalled there. That's a 2nd and 2 gains. But again, I'm nitpicking here. Tennessee won 51-10. Tennessee's offense had 460 yards. Tennessee scored 45 or whatever points on offense. I mean, Tennessee did well. It was a really, really good game for Tennessee.
David drops another 2, says, and the negative yardage on each drive, unreal. Appreciate the super chat, David. Man, there was one point, I think it was in the first half, I looked at the team stats. They had negative 51 rushing yards at one point in the first half. Just unbelievable performance by this defense. And you do have to finish drives, but how good has Max Gilbert been? And I know he missed the what was it, 52, 53 yarder.
Yeah,
Other than that, been automatic. And that was a question mark, man. People ask me all the time leading into the season, who's going to be the kicker? Are we going to be able to rely? Man, Max Gilbert's been a weapon for you on special teams. And talking special teams in general, I think Squirrel White has been really good returning punts.
Yeah, and you like Squirrel White back there returning punts because if something were to happen to him and he got dinged up or something, I mean, you've got so much depth at wide receiver, so it's not horrible. Like, I guess in game 1 at one point in time, they had Jamal McCoy back there returning punts. I'd love to see him with the ball in his hands because he's an offensive player at heart. He's a track guy. In high school, a state champion hurdler, I believe. But you only have 3 corners that you feel good about right now. So it's like, let's hold off there. I think Squirrel's been great returning the football in terms of punts. And Max Gilbert, yeah, man, he's got a leg. Like that's what we heard in fall camp is like he's got a leg. It's getting through the uprights. That's been his challenge. The distance is not the issue. And he's been awesome. And that's what you want to see before you go on the road, SEC environment, Norman, Oklahoma here in a couple weeks. You want to see him knock through some really good kicks, and he's done that the first 2 weeks. So couple that with, I know you'll probably ask me here in a minute, but Tennessee's 12 personnel on offense. Whoo, man! Nico finding Kitzelman, hitting him in stride, Squirrel down the sideline with the switch, with the wheel route. Nico's use of his legs, all of that combined, man. It was again, it was. If you're a Tennessee fan, you obviously watched the entire game with a smile on your face.
Let's just jump right into the 12 personnel because it was a fun conversation last night because Coach Rice, who comes on the channel regularly, he was pretty fired up on Twitter in the first half when things seemed to be going sluggish and slow. And he was saying, why are you going to 12 personnel? Why are you changing it up? Stay true to who you are, all this type of stuff. And then you hear NC State's coach after the game say, we were not ready for 12 personnel. We were not prepared for that. And then we kind of dug into it last night on the fan call-in show. And he was saying how, ultimately it's going to be good. You talk about the 3-3-5 defense, and we talked about how Georgia may also come out with some 3-man fronts, but also you're giving Georgia something to look at on tape. You're giving these other teams something to look at on tape. If I'd asked you before this game, if I told you that Squirrel White was going to have 2 catches, Chris Brazil was going to have 3 catches, Brew McCoy was going to have a catch, Caleb Webb was going to have a catch, and that's all the production from your wide receivers, there is no way you think Tennessee wins this game. So talk about that 12 personnel. You think that was Tennessee scheming something up for NC State? Do you think it was a combination of that versus putting something on tape for maybe a Georgia? It worked. I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was fairly obvious that they felt like they could combat that defensive look with that 12 personnel. I caught up with one of Tennessee's assistant coaches, making my way down to the field after the game was over, and I asked him, I was like, hey, what was up with all the 12 personnel tonight? And he was like, hey, defensive look, we like a 12 personnel against that look. We've wanted to do 12 personnel at times. We just haven't been able to, right? They played with 2 tight ends the first 3 years. It was Jacob Warren and/or Princeton Fan or McAllen Castles, and that was it. This year, we've seen already, as all 3 Tennessee tight ends have had touchdowns in 2 games, Tennessee plays 3 tight ends. And, when you have that depth, you're allowed to do things like this. So, stay true to who Tennessee is. Tennessee is an 11 personnel team. Tennessee has a slot wide receiver. They spread things out, and they go tempo-wise. But against these looks that give them issues at times, like at Missouri, it wasn't a true 3-stack, but it was a kind of a look. Against this look here at NC State, it's in your back pocket now. And how many times throughout the years has it felt like Tennessee's been overwhelmed at the line of scrimmage against a Georgia or maybe an Alabama at times? And you're like, man, give Hendon or give Joe just some time, right? Well, this 12 personnel you've got in your back pocket, not only are they having to prepare for it now, but it's something you can run with some confidence where you've got a tight end that can stay in here in Miles Kitselman. You have an H-back that can stay in here and help your running back. So really, it is an 8-man protection. What I don't like is only 2 guys running routes. And Kitselman darted out there, and he was wide open on the 15-yard touchdown. So it's not truly just 2 guys running routes, but it kind of brings everything in instead of spreading it out. So all that to say, credit Tennessee. They've wanted to do 12 personnel for a while. This will not, in my opinion, this will not be their bread and butter moving forward, but it's just another variation. It's just another wrinkle that you have in your back pocket. You can use whenever things aren't going well, whenever you need to protect a little bit, and something else these defenses have to prepare for Josh Heupel. I thought it was really, really good. And they, before the blowout ensued in the second half, they ran over half of their offensive plays in 12 personnel. So obviously, they love that look against NC State, and you're right. In postgame, Dave Doran and the NC State defensive coordinator was like, we were shocked. We had no clue because Tennessee's never showed it on film outside of 4 times in 3 years.
I love Kirk Herbstreit on the broadcast saying, man, this is what they're doing. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, give you the same look, sneak Kitselman out wide open.
Play action. Those backers have to sell out because Tennessee's running it so well, and Kitselman is wide open. I wish Kitselman as well had that second touchdown. Scramble drill. Dane Davis was not downfield. No. Nico is so far back. Nico, it's a scramble drill. He sees Kitselman, flips his hips, strikes it down the field. I mean, dude is so athletic. I thought that was probably one of his best plays of the night, and it ended up not counting. But, man, again, it's just Tennessee's offense creating some problems.
I love Nico. He looks so much like Hendon. And I know that's like just his elusiveness and his quickness and the quarterback draw, right? That's something else. Everybody wants to say, oh, Nico didn't play a great game or play terrible, yada, yada, yada. You look at his total numbers. You look at what he did in the run game. You look at what he did just to extend plays with his feet. But that quarterback draw, that looked like Hendon Hooker. That's exactly who that looked like. I loved it. He was so quick getting north and south on that play. I like this comment from Robert talking about Coach Hype out coaching Dave Doran for NC State. I love some of the play calls, man. You know, obviously the one we just talked about, the play action to Kitselman. I love the way they got the tight ends involved. And we saw this a little bit last week, a little middle tight end screen to Ethan Davis. What looked like almost like a tunnel screen at one point to the tight ends. I love that play call. I love the play call on, I think it was 3rd and short, where they motion Squirrel and then they roll Nico to the left and he throws across his body into the flats. Squirrel goes and picks up.
Squirrel was that H-back. I mean, they kind of had those two. It was almost like wings. Instead of on the line on the tackles, they were back. So you had a tight end, you had a slot, and you motion Squirrel, like you're saying, roll it out right there. And I think he picked up like 20 yards on that play.
Do you not think, like, the play calling in this game? I think we talk about opening the playbook. We're seeing what this offense can really be when the playbook is truly open.
Yeah, for sure. And you got some guys that can go make these plays happen. And, I thought, again, the wrinkles of the 12 personnel, the play calling, that play you just mentioned specifically, the tight end screen where it's almost like he's running a squirrel route. I believe that's what it's called. You go in, you plant, you turn back around and come in, and you got your lineman already out there 5-10 yards. So you're coming in right beneath them. I thought that was a really, really good play call. And then, the ability to, on certain down in situations, and I think you're going to see that several times this year, run Nico. I mean, he came out there in an empty set. Everybody's like, and they did that a couple of times. They had the running back out there, and they would often motion him back in, so it's a true 11 personnel again. But, empty set, and then he gets the football. You have the right tackle come over and kick the end man on the line of scrimmage. As long as Nico beats that backside end to the line of scrimmage, he's gone. And he was gone right up the middle, 31 yards. And I thought Nico was not perfect on Saturday. He made some mistakes. He had 2 turnovers. He forced the football into a window of 4 Wolfpack players. Probably should have put the football in his back pocket. Only 2 receivers were running routes on that play. And then the other one, he got clobbered when he threw it. And Josh Heupel said specifically on that one, he should have just took the sack. But he was far from bad. Again, what he did with his legs, some of the throws he made, he completed 70% of his passes. I thought Nico, once again, was exciting. And, I mean, you're never going to play like you are against UTC every week. But certainly you get that Nico every single week, and you get a chance to win a whole lot of games.
Donovan, I was listening to you guys on the Rocky Top Rewind too, talking about a running clock. I was laughing about it last night. I was like, our post-game show on Saturday after Kent State, are you kidding me? 7:45 kickoff. It's going to be 117-0 at halftime.
Yep.
There may be 4 people watching. That may be what our post-game. Everybody's going to go to bed. Running clock, though, come on now. This, come on. Not every child's not a winner in this situation. Let's go put our foot on their throat, like Nico said. Let's get some reps. You guys compared it to Tony Vitello getting pissed off because the guys don't get in at bat. I agree. Let's go play a full 60 minutes.
So I didn't know that was a thing in college football right now. I had no clue. Apparently,
I didn't either until y'all were talking about it. I thought
apparently
it was
it happened in the Georgia game. I didn't know that. That's never happened at Tennessee. I will say this: it started doing my Kent State scout last night, and
how embarrassing. I bet that's a lot of fun.
According to the Football Power Index over at ESPN.com, Kent State is number 134 ranking. That is last. They are the dead last FBS football program. According to the win-loss projection, they're projected to win 1.6 games, lose 10.4 games. And listen to this stat, okay? The expected point margin versus average opponent on the neutral field. So essentially, what they're expected to, the difference in the game against a common opponent on neutral field, minus 24.3. Tennessee's is like 21.4, meaning Tennessee's a 3-touchdown favorite against pretty much everybody they play. Any way you want to spin it, this is the worst team statistically in FBS football right now. So it's going to be something over there. I bet Mike Matthews will have 100 yards receiving. I bet Braylon Staley's going to go off. I bet William Satterwhite's going to play 2 quarters. It's going to be one of those games for sure.
And it's good, too. We talk about, the depth on the defense, but just the football team as a whole, they're going to be fresh. They're going to be ready to go into Oklahoma and play. And, the depth on the defense is something, and I don't know how much it played into Saturday night, but the defensive line was still rotating a lot of guys. And I forget what the number was. Somebody said it last night. I can't remember. But in the second half, they had like 50-some yards of total offense. It was bad. And how much of that is Tennessee's defense just wearing down that other team, and then you're going to have a glorified scrimmage on Saturday, get rested, get healthy, and then go play what I think is maybe the biggest game of the year. It's going to be the tone setter against Oklahoma.
Yeah, and Oklahoma is going to be much better than what they were against Houston. Now, I thought NC State was going to be much better than what it was against Western Carolina, and that was not the case at all. But I have a hard time believing that, what was it, they scored 16 points, Oklahoma? They're not going to score that few points again, but Tennessee's defensive line's incredible. I mean, I was shocked that when I looked at the Pro Football Focus numbers on Sunday morning, Omar Norman-Law played 14 snaps. I thought he was everywhere, right? Like 14 snaps for Omar Norman-Law, and only 18 snaps for Joshua Josephs. I thought he played, and I thought he played a lot more than that. I mean, to your point, they just rotate. There's always an answer. They're always fresh, and that's when you take over games, especially in the second half. We've been talking about it all offseason. I know it's only 2 games and really one game that mattered. We're seeing it on the field right now, and it's really, really cool to see. And if you're an offensive lineman, if you're an offensive personnel going up against this, I mean, it's really unfair how fresh and how much energy they will have later in the games compared to what you guys have when you're on plays like, 50 to 60 at that point in the third quarter.
Let me hit a couple of super chats real quick. Pecan for 5 says, off topic. You ever smell some super stinky cheese with rotten eggs? If you ever did, that was Colorado you were smelling. Dude, how about Sanders walking off the field with his team still out there, 2 minutes to go on the clock. And then on top of that, he goes to the press conference and basically throws his entire offensive line under the bus. Just an absolute train wreck out there in Colorado.
If I'm his teammate, I don't know how to play with him anymore. I mean, if I'm an offensive lineman, you ever seen the movie? We've all seen The Longest Yard whenever, Terry Crews goes back, not Terry Crews, whatever the character's name is, I'm forgetting. But Crews, he goes back in and the offensive line don't block for him for like 3 plays. And then finally it's like, you know what? All right, I'll do it myself. Break. And he's like, all right, can we play football now? Like,
yeah.
Send a message to him like that. I mean, it's such a train wreck out there. It's hard. It's really, really hard to see somebody with that much potential and that much of a role, a platform, kind of put its team on blast like that. I think it's a really, really sorry situation. The dude's got all the talent in the world, man. He'll be a first-round pick. Come on, man, don't do that.
They're just feeding off their head coach. Rocky Top Tom for 5 and 22. I laughed at this thought process, but this year I'll buy if we win at Oklahoma is Kirby pooping. I would never say the phrase pooping his britches, but when you come on here and Rocky Top Tom drops a $5 super chat, I have to say the term pooping his britches. Is Kirby pooping his britches because this team is complete? It is very clear we are closing the talent gap, right? I mean, you can see that. Again, NC State, a top 25 team, you go out and dominate, and everybody's like, man, we didn't play good. We got problems. We got concerns. That just shows you how good this football team really is. They're closing the talent gap. Let's kind of look at the rest of the way, and we're going to do this every single Monday. Every Monday, we're going to come in here. We're going to pull up the schedule. We're going to talk about the last game. We're going to say, all right, how we feeling this week? You said, what was your prediction? I always forget, 9-3 or 10-2?
10-2.
10-2. So Oklahoma, Kent State glorified scrimmage. Oklahoma on the 21st. How are we feeling about that Oklahoma game? And are we still sitting at 10-2 right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still drinking that Kool-Aid. I'm still at 10-2. I think it's going to be challenging. I haven't dove into the stats and the numbers and everything for Oklahoma, but I'll still have Tennessee winning that game simply because of a lot of the reasons we've already talked about: defensive line, quarterback play, run game. But yeah, that's going to be a huge game, and I'm with you. Arguably, this is coach talk, but I mean, it's the biggest game next on the schedule, right? Because I know it's technically not the next game, but it's the next game, right?
It is.
It's going to be tough, but I like Tennessee right now to win that game for sure, especially based on what Oklahoma's look like.
I love the fact that you brought up the ESPN Power Index rankings because I love them. And it's when you get in front of a microphone and talk every day, it kind of gives you a talking point to go off of. And I thought it was interesting looking at Oklahoma. Oklahoma favored by 3.5. ESPN FPI has Tennessee at 66% odds to win that game. Tennessee came out in the Power Index this week, ranked 5th. The only two teams left on the schedule ahead of them is Alabama and Georgia. But I think you beat Oklahoma. Man, that is going to be a hostile environment because I expect Tennessee to take care of Arkansas. I expect Tennessee to take care of Florida. That's going to be a tough environment for Alabama to come into, and it's going to be very similar to 22. And like I said earlier in the show, I said yesterday, and I'm going to say all week long, Tennessee's offense and defense shows up. Good luck, because it's going to be hard to beat them if they both show up and show out.
Hey, you mentioned something about Nico reminding you of Hendon on some play or whatever. You know what reminded me of Hendon Hooker the other day is whenever he took off and ran and some guy maybe rolled him up or, was slow to get off him or whatever, and Nico kind of shoved him. I was like, do you remember Hendon against Florida in 2022 when he was jawing at that guy in the face? I know Nico wasn't jawing, but it was something so small, but if I'm sitting up there in the press box, I'm like, okay. Like that's a dog leading your offense. Okay.
Yes.
And then I know everybody wants to talk about the offensive lineman going and defending Nico, which I'm sure that they would have if they saw it. John Campbell and Javonte Spraggins didn't even see Nico get hit out there on that. They were driving their guy to the sideline and, doing things through the whistle like they shouldn't, or through the whistle and beyond the whistle. But I did think it was funny. Everybody was like, "Oh, look at this! Look at these linemen going to their quarterback's aid," and I'm sure they would. But it's like, no, they were just driving that guy on a sled through the back of the end zone and got flagged for it.
See, I didn't use good social media discipline because as soon as I saw the flags and I saw the offensive lineman, I start tweeting, "Look at him going for the," and then
it's an assumption because that's what you think.
I saw what happened. I was like, that is not what happened at all. They just took that guy to the third row. But, yeah, what am I going to do? Delete the tweet at that point? I'm going to leave it out. But, yeah, I love that. Man, we talked about this last night on our fan call-in show. Of course, Coach Jay's like, oh, yeah, y'all, Nico's got a little fire in him. I like seeing that because we've seen this cool, calm, collected kid out there in the PJs and the sunglasses, having a good time, loosey-goosey, even mic'd up in practice, right? Mm-hmm. You don't really see that fire. He did show some of that Hendon Hooker fire. Even on some of the runs, man, where he got him, he's like, the play on the sideline, he didn't just turn and run back to the huddle. He was spinning around. Those lips were going. He had a little something to say.
Hey, and you know what I love too? And obviously I hope Tennessee's quarterbacks don't make a habit of throwing interceptions, but Deshaun Bishop, second week in a row, man. It was Nathan Leacock that saved a touchdown last week for Gaston Moore. This week it was Deshaun Bishop that was like 2 yards shy of making a tackle and negating that pick six. I love the hustle. And then, with Nico on his first interception, he runs over there and makes the tackle. Like, he goes over there and makes the tackle, man. I love the way this team plays. And, Nico, not too high, never too low, kind of that middle ground. He had 2 turnovers the other night, but the way he responded and came right back, I love, man. I think his whole demeanor and obviously his athletic ability and the way he plays the position at quarterback, Tennessee's got a good one, man.
See, this is why I'm not going to format this show anymore. I'm just going to jump on here and start talking because it flows.
Yeah.
No, that's what I love, man. I like to feel like two guys talking football. I don't need a format and a structure, and I always do that, and then we never touch on it. Let me hit these real quick. Todd Hurley for 2 every day are here. What about those tight ends, baby? Got 3 really good ones. Got 3 really good tight ends, man. I'm excited about Kitzman, and I know you guys at VolQuest talk a lot about him in the offseason, but it's one of those things that when I didn't even make a video when he transferred. I posted and said, okay, tight end from Alabama, not a whole lot of playing time. How cool was it, too, in his post game? Somebody asked him, when's the last time you scored a touchdown? And he had to go back to community college. And it's like, man, you don't think about that. And then here he is on the bright lights, night game, neutral site. He gets in the end zone. Terry Maples for 5 says Nebraska hired a coach. Colorado hired a promoter who only promotes his kids. GBO. Yeah, when they're gone, Deion's gone. That's my opinion.
Oh yeah, I think it was Feinbaum. Who was it that said it over this weekend? I think this could be the last year for Deion in Colorado because his guys are gone. Travis Hunter's gone. Why stay at a really bad situation? So yeah, we'll see what happens. But it's train wreck, just a train wreck.
All right, Caner, it's always a good time on these Monday morning shows. Don't forget Friday at midnight, I'll be on Locked On Vols. Then me and Coach Jay will be live 10 a.m. here on the Talkin Vols Network. But what do you guys got coming up on VolQuest? What do you got coming up on Locked On Vols?
Yeah, just tons of more review, more reaction from this big win for Tennessee in the historic Dukes Mayo Classic over there at Bank of America Stadium. So got the jar of Duke's Mayo over here that I'm going to give to my mom because I hate mayo, but it's got a Tennessee logo on it, so that's kind of cool. More thoughts on that, more reaction. Still game week stuff, even though it's Kent State. We got the stock report, we got Rockies Out Roundtable, Game Quest, all that and more, all over there at volquest.com. And every single day, 30 minutes or less, wherever you get your podcasts, it's Locked On Vols every single morning.
I love it. Foul Ming says that that's 2 years. Boogie slept on Castles. Did I tell you that Callie's mom came up to me at the spring game?
No.
Such an uncomfortable situation. I didn't hate on Castles. I just questioned when he transferred in. I was like, I don't know anything about this guy. We'll have to see if he can do it. Can he transfer in and make an impact? And so then it became a bit on the channel. And so people would put it in the chat, Boogie hates McAllen Castles. So I would just run with it, right, and turn it into a bit, and I would highlight the comments, and we would laugh about it. So we're at the spring game, and we're walking over to the stadium, and I hear this lady say, hey, is that Boogie Bentley? I turn around, I'm like, yeah, hey, nice to meet you. Whatever.
Which happens like 70 times every time he goes into public at a game or whatever.
It really doesn't. But of all people, she goes, I'm Callie's mom, and I'm like, oh, no.
So I know you're trying to kick me off here. You got other things that happen.
No, I'm laughing. I got a full story to tell.
I was at, was it Pro Day this past year? And I never like to think that I'm hard and I go in on players. That's just not really my style. I mean, I'll be critical, right? I mean, I'm critical of Nico's 2 interceptions the other day, but I mean, I'm not dogging anybody because that's just not my style. A guy that everybody's very critical of, his father comes up to me and he's like, hey man, listen to all the stuff you do, man. I appreciate you. Like, I love your stuff. And in that moment in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, what is every bad thing I've ever said about this kid? Oh, it's just so awkward, right? But that was one that sticks out for sure. That happens more times than not. But back to the tight ends real quick. I know you're trying to get rid of me. One thing though, for real, I've got faith in, like, Tennessee will coach up them tight ends, right? Jacob Warren, Princeton Fant, solid duo. Jacob Warren, McAllen Castles, really solid duo. These 3 this year, I think, is a solid trio. Because those tight ends are so important to the offense, they better have some dudes that can play. And so it's kind of becoming a norm, at least in my opinion, that, like, Tennessee's going to have some tight ends. Now, will they have those big receiving nights? Usually not ever. I mean, even Miles Kitzman, 39 yards receiving. But, Tennessee's going to have some tight ends to play for sure. And they got 3 good ones this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, then you got Deson Brame coming in, right? You got Jack Van Dorsey coming in. And then you got Carson Sneed next class. Kendry Harrison is the guy that likes him some Tennessee. You're just stacking tight end after tight end after tight end. Callie's mom actually yelled at him like he was a middle schooler. He goes, Callie, get up here. This is Boogie Bentley. You're going to take a picture with him. And he's like, what the? He's like, who is this guy? He has no idea who I am. So he turns around and goes, if I'm getting in this picture, Jacob's getting in it. And so he makes Jacob Warren come up there. And then Jacob Warren goes, if you're making me take this picture, then Hunter. And the whole tight end room, Callie's mom's sitting there like her little baby boy taking a picture with a guy that everybody says hates him. Just, oh, gosh. You got to hit this one. Marcus Rush for 5. Has anyone heard from Gibbs from Locked On Wolfpack?
I've never seen. I do crossovers all the time when I can because I think they know more about their team than I do, and so I love to get that that thought and all that. But anyway, I've never gotten more feedback from a crossover show in my life. In my 3 years I've been a part of the program than the one we did last week. I have not heard from Kenton, former NC State player, former defensive lineman. He knows ball. I didn't agree with all of his takes, but he's a good dude, and I have not heard from those guys. Obviously, the game probably did not go the way that I think they both picked Tennessee to win, but I don't think anybody saw 51-10.
The comment section was funny from the Friday show. Everybody's like, Kaner, you got to get Boogie to come on next time so he can just unleash because he has no filter. And then there were the two guys that say that they hate me and they're never going to watch the show again when I'm on it. And then they come back the next Friday and they leave the same comment that they hate me and they're never going to. And then they do it the next week and the next week and the next week. I can't wait to shout them out this week. Anyway, Kaner, see, this is what happens. We drag you through the mud. It's always a good time, man. We'll catch up Thursday, record, get ready for Locked On Balls on Friday. Go sub up Locked On Balls if you aren't.
Appreciate you guys. Sounds good. And have a great start to your week, all right?
Later, brother.
See ya.
All right, we move on. I'm interested to get into Heupel's press conference because he looked pissed off. He looked angry, and I don't know why, and I want to find out. I wanted to watch it. I wanted to watch the postgame press conference because he looked so angry, but I have to save it because I want those real reactions to it when I watch it here. Do me a favor. We got 400 people watching live right now. Smash that thumbs up. That's easy, man. If you're sitting on the couch, you got your feet propped up, you got it on the TV, grab your phone real quick. Jump over to Talkin VAWLS. If you're not subscribed, click that thumbs up. We would appreciate it. Hey, man, it all helps the channel. If you're watching the replay, attack the comment section. If you don't have a comment or a question, just put a GBO. It helps this channel. And you can go check out the Talkin VAWLS merchandise. A lot of you guys, I think this is a favorite. The VWO shirt, Vol World Order, because if you're talking Vols, you're talking Vols for life. But look, you can pick whatever style you want. And then underneath that, there's all the different color schemes you can get in where you fit in. We've got all kinds of stuff. Recruiting shirts, lurker. What else we got here? Knoxville checkerboard shirts. We've got the Chosen One, Cult of 8, Talkin VAWLS letter themes, Cult member, FUGA, Gator hater. Just a nice, clean TriStar shirt. Again, whatever style, design, color scheme that you want. Buck Fama, that's also another favorite. You bunch of degenerates in the chat. Hey, we got an election coming up, and there's only one vote. That's Boogie Dauber in 2024. You can see our slogan here: for the fans, by the fans, endorsed by the Talkin VAWLS Network. This one, I love this shirt, Vols by Fitty, but this is probably our cleanest shirt. If you want to rep Talkin VAWLS, you want people to know what Talkin VAWLS is all about, go get the State Pride logo shirt. We would appreciate it. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Bert Smith says, Boogie breaking it down as usual. What did I break down? I usually just yell into a microphone. Kaner asked me Friday on his show, what do you really do? Do you just ask Coach Jay and Coach Rice what they think? How did you get so lucky? I don't know. Bobby's in the house. What's up? Bobby Inman says, great win this week. Matt Maher says, keep that mentality and come holler at us after. Let's see. David for another 5 said, met Cali parents at the Bama game last year, invited us to their tailgate with all their friends from Lake Tahoe. Tahoe. Super nice people. Yeah, his mom was super nice. Didn't meet any. I just met his mom and then met Callie. And then, of course, Jacob Warren, Hunter Salmon. It was cool, man. It was cool. Let's see. Our John Cena been a member for 22 months. I can't see him, though. I can't see John Cena, but he has been here for 22 months. We appreciate that support. We're on a membership drive. If you don't have a Power T beside your name, you like these Monday morning shows, you like the videos, the contents, the live streams, whatever it is, think about hitting that join button. You can do it for $1, just $1 per week. Coach Jay on his way to work. How does it feel having to actually work, Coach Jay? Got to drive to work. At least my team is in Malibu. Great views of beaches and great personalities. Oh, that's an underrated comment. Underrated comment. Justin Goforth says, meeting Castle's mom and getting a pic with the tight end room. Perfect. Oh, man. I wish I could have seen my own face. I just hear somebody say, is that Boogie Bentley? I turn around and talk to him, and then I'm Callie's mom. And I was like, oh, no. I did say to her, though, I said, I've said some things, maybe not so nice about your son. She says, it was all fine. You do a great job. Ben's been a member for 10 months. We appreciate you, Ben. All right, let's jump into it. Let's take a listen to Coach Heupel's post-game press conference after the 51-10 over NC State. We'll probably get some ads in this video. Hopefully not, but we might. Bobby Inman becomes a member. Got a new member around here. We appreciate you, brother. Just $1. That's it. So shout out, Bobby. We appreciate that support. Say it all the time. The memberships. That's why there would be no Monday morning show. If it wasn't for the number of members that are on this channel, I wouldn't do this. I would be working a 9 to 5, but instead I get to come on here and talk football with you guys on Monday and Friday mornings. Thomas Coburn Jr. for 10. Very generous. Very generous. Not a super chat. It is a super sticker. It looks like a PlayStation controller flexing. We do that tomorrow night, Tuesday night. We're going to play some EA Sports College Football, and I'm looking forward to it. Always a good time, man. I love Tuesday nights. Nothing hits like a Tuesday night. So let's get into it. Let's take a listen to what Josh Heupel had to say after the win over NC State.
Good team win right there. Excited about the way that football team came out and performed defensively. Just an elite performance. From really start to finish. Played so well against the run, tight coverage, applied pressure to the quarterback, just a really good performance. And proud of what they did offensively, efficient in the run game. There's some things that we got to clean up as well. Wasn't as clean as we're capable of playing and as clean as we're going to need to play as we continue. But all in all, really good performance. O-line played really hard and played well. The special teams thought we were solid all night in that phase of the football game. Chase just missed the long one, or Max. I'm sorry, not Chase. Going back in time there, but all in all, really solid performance. So open it up.
Dominant performance by the defense. Beer Cans and Baddies comes in here all the time and he trolls you guys and you guys start interacting with him. I'm really close to just banning him. And then everybody says, oh, Boogie bans people for no reason. Yeah, because I want to talk Tennessee football. I don't want to sit here and argue with a clown. If you want me to ban Beer Cans and Baddies, and he's done nothing wrong. He's done nothing wrong other than hijack the chat. And I don't want to hijack the chat. I want to hang out with you guys. I don't want you guys to hang out with Beer Cans and Baddies. If you want me to block and put a 1 in the chat, if you want to let him stay, if you enjoy bantering with him instead of talking Tennessee football, put a 2 in the chat. 1's we'll ban him. 2, we'll get rid of him. I'm letting the chat decide. It's not me. It's not me that's doing it. Kyle, he doesn't become a member of the channel. He upgrades his membership to Talkin VAWLS Elite. If you know, you know. We appreciate that, Kyle. Thank you so much for the support. I wonder, listening to Josh Heupel here, I wonder if listening to him, so many people, it feels like, and maybe I'm just seeing the vocal minority, maybe just the vocal minority. It seems like so many people aren't happy with this win. It's like, oh, we weren't dominant. We didn't do this. We didn't do that. Nico threw 2 picks, blah, 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 blah. We won 51-10. 51-10. Dominant performance by defense. Efficiency running the football. Almost 250 yards on the ground. 249 yards. Average 5.7 yards per carry against the 24th best team in the country. How are we going to complain about that? Of course you have things to clean up. Of course Nico has things he can work on. Nico's never going to play perfect. Guess what? He's never going to play perfect. Ever. He was still efficient. Coach Jay wasn't even in the chat when I brought this up to Cainer. How many games did Joe Milton complete 70% of his passes last year? 3. 3 times. Nico completes 70% of his passes. Of course, 2 picks. I get it. He completes 70% of his passes, and we're acting like the sky is falling.
First question is back right.
Josh, you ran with a lot of 12 personnel tonight, a lot of 2 tight end sets. Was that just something you saw with them on scheme? What was that? And then just kind of take everybody through just the defensive performance tonight. You've not allowed a touchdown on defense in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Obviously, we gave up 1 on the offense side of the ball tonight, but defensively played really well. 2 weeks not allowing an opponent into the end zone. Just starts with defending the run game, violent, disruptive up front, being great in our fits, and then applying pressure to the quarterback and being really sound in our coverage. I really like, the growth that we've had in the early part of the season. I like our personnel. There's some things that we can continue to get better at, but they got great energy, camaraderie. They care about each other. We're able to rotate. We got depth. we just got to keep growing. But really love what Coach Banks and our defensive staff and players have done. Offensively, for us, 12 personnel has been something that we've been working on for a while. Our roster, when we got there, for us, we had scholarship limitations, and in particular on the offensive side of the football, that's kind of where you pick your poison. And when I say that, you're going to be limited at some position, and this is the deepest that our tight end room has been. We've been working on 12 personnel, through the spring and through training camp. And so we see it as something that will be a part of what we continue to do.
Have you guys noticed like the scholarship limitations? He didn't talk about that when he took over the job. He didn't make excuses, but you're hearing it a lot now when it comes to this roster, when it comes to the depth, when it comes to him talking about 12 personnel right there. And then defensively, I saw somebody put it in the chat right here, Bobby Inman, 155-13 the last 3 games. I was laughing. I saw Donovan before we even started the stream. Donovan was in the chat talking, and he said, Will Brooks, 7 points. Will Brooks. And then I started thinking, Will Brooks has scored more touchdowns than opposing offenses have against Tennessee in the last 3 games combined. Think about that. Tennessee's defense, Will Brooks has 7 points. Opposing offenses have not scored a single touchdown. Then I started thinking in the Iowa game, James Pierce had the pick 6. That's Tennessee's defense, 14. Tennessee's defense in the last 3 games has scored 14 points. Opposing offenses have scored a combined 13. Tennessee defense could have gone out and beat the last 3 teams that we played. They didn't have to score a single point on offense. Didn't have to do nothing. They could have just sat on the sideline. We didn't even need the offense. That's insane. That is insane. When Josh Heupel gets mad here in just a second talking about elite defense. That's elite defense. Let's hear more.
Rob Lewis with VolQuest.com. Coach, since you've been here, the identity of this program has been high scoring, explosive offense. What was it like tonight to sit there and just watch your defense just?
Oh gosh, was it Rob Lewis that set him off? Was it Rob Lewis that pissed him off? Oh my gosh, this has got to be the clip. This has to be the clip. Was it really Rob Lewis that set him off? Let's find out.
Dominate that.
Yeah, it's not the only time that they've played like that. But again, with the growth and development of our roster, we're able to play more people. That gives you depth. That helps. And the growth of our players and who we have within the scheme that Coach Banks and our defensive staff have continued to develop these guys. They've been playing well, and I love the future.
Yeah, he's getting pissed off. He's getting pissed off right now.
Brett Friedlander, Saturday Down South.
Let me just say one more thing. The standard at Tennessee is to be elite on defense. This is the home of Reggie White, Al Wilson, Eric Berry.
He is pissed. I love it. But again, like I said at the top of the show when I played the clip, he said it before. Look, this goes back to last year sometime. Listen to this. Same clip, same clip right here. Listen.
I've said it from when I got here. The expectation, the standard is to play elite defense here, not just good defense. This is the home of Eric Berry, Al Wilson, Reggie White. The standard is to be elite.
It's not the first time he said it. He is angry that Rob Lewis is who set him off. No, Rob Lewis isn't the one, Carl. Rob Lewis doesn't ask dumb questions. Rob Lewis covers basketball more than football for VolQuest. He's the one that everybody laughs at if you watch the VolQuest podcast, because he sits there with his earbuds in, and every time he moves, the microphone goes across his chest, and it's like the whole time. That's Rob Lewis set him off. Sean Cross is in the house. What's up, brother? Dropped the $2 super chat. Says good morning. Vol Nation. Good morning, Sean. It's good to see you in the chat. One more sleep, Sean. One more sleep till your next EA Sports College Football 25 tail kicking. I can't wait to see you tomorrow night. Add another L. Go ahead and add another L. Go ahead and chalk it up, Sean. Tomorrow night.
Ball pretty well in the first half. 20 points is still pretty good, but you got more production out of it in the second half. Was it a matter of adjustments, or was it a short field, or What was the difference?
Nah, kind of stubbed our toe early on one of the drives, and didn't take advantage of it. Had turnover on one of the early drives in the first half too. So there were some self-inflicted wounds, and then the holding penalty when you're in 2-minute drive. Just the score of the game and flow of it, knowing that we get the ball at the beginning of the second half. Wanted to play smart football right there, and not a advantageous spot. So it's just kind of the way it unfolded.
Middleweight was so huge, man. So huge. I feel like that's when they really put the game away. Of course, the Will Brooks pick was huge. I mean, that's a 14-point swing. Could have been a tie game. Instead, you're up 17-3 at that point. And then that's kind of where you're at. And you got a minute and a half. You got the ball in really good field position. And now we've seen back-to-back weeks, 2 weeks in a row, right before halftime, 2-minute drill, stupid penalty, sets us back. Last week, it was a chop block. This week, it's a holding call. But you were able to still get points there. And you went from 17-3 to 20-3. Then you come out to start the third quarter. You go right down the field, 10-play drive, 75 yards. You eat up 4.5 minutes of clock. That's something Coach Shea talked about going into the season. Like during fall camp, he talked about Nico and his command of the offense and how it wouldn't always be going quick, that they would be able to truly slow the offense down at times. And that's what we saw. I mean, you ate up 4.5 minutes in a 10-play drive, and you extended the lead to 24-3. And I think that's when, 27-3 right there in the first drive of the third quarter. And I think that was all she wrote. I think they folded. Robert Tuck for 2 says, I love that clip is not lip service. No, it's Josh Heupel believes that. Josh Heupel believes that we are going to play elite defense. We are playing elite defense. I don't care what anybody says. You blanked Iowa in the bowl game. You pretty much blanked NC State. 51-10. 51-10. Some people aren't happy. I don't get it.
Left camera.
In the back, Camille Gear, WBIR coach. Fan base obviously really pumped up between the big win last week and the big win this week. Is this just the tip of the iceberg, what this offense and Nico can do?
As a football team, I'm proud of what we've done for 2 weeks.
The thing about favorites is
I knew we were going to get ads. I hate these YouTube channels that put the freaking ads in the middle of a 10-minute video. Give me a break. That's why the goal is 10-minute videos, so you can put ads in the middle of them. Give me a break. It's okay. Make your money. Put the ads before, put the ads after. But why do we got to break up a 10-minute video to put ads in it?
There's a lot of meat left on the bone for us. Defensively, really strong performance tonight. Offensively, some really good things. There's some things that we have to be better at and play cleaner. Again, there's a lot left out for us there. Good teams continue to get better throughout the course of the year. The chemistry, camaraderie is important as you continue to go through the season too. And for us as a football team, we got to continue to grow. And this schedule we have in front of us obviously is extremely difficult. But
he is antsy, man.
Keep growing.
He is antsy.
From the Associated Press, I just wonder, can you assess Nico's play? What you think?
Yeah, I thought all in all played really well. There's 2 plays he'd like to have back. Fundamentally just missed the throw over the middle of the football field in the first half. And at the end of the day, no matter what's happening around him, he's got to be right inside of the pocket as he's getting hit on the pass concept down there in the red zone. So he played within himself. He responded extremely well to adversity. I think that's one of the things we really haven't seen from him yet. Really proud of his demeanor and being ready to come play the next play independently, which is what you have to do as a quarterback.
We talked about that on the post-game show too. How did he respond after the picks? They went right down the field and scored after both interceptions. And Heupel talked about this on the Josh Heupel show. He said the play after both picks was basically like it was 0-0, like it was a 0-0 first play of the game, like completely flushed it. And you say that, right? Like Butch Jones, snap and clear, like flush it. That's not easy to do, man. If you've ever played in any competitive sport, martial arts, anything, it's hard to flush it and move on. But he said that's what Nico did, and then he went right out there, went right down the field. Very next drive, scored both times. And I get it. If ifs, ands, and buts were candy and nuts, whatever the saying is, you take away those 2 picks. He was 16 of 23. You take away those 2 picks. You take that throw to Dante Thornton in the end zone that was just off the fingertips. You take that throw to Brew McCoy. If he doesn't get held, of course, they didn't call it. They didn't call it, but we all saw that Brew McCoy got held. That was pass interference. It just wasn't called. It is what it is. Tell me when I'm telling lies. That was pass interference. That could have been a touchdown. What about the out route to Squirrel just off the fingertips? And I get it. These are mistakes. That's why you go out and play the game. Ifs, ands, and nuts, right? It's a game of inches. But if he can have those 2 throws back, he eats it, takes a sack, live to play another down. You can't base an entire 60-minute football game off of 2 mistakes that Nico made and act like he played terrible. Still completed 70% of his passes. What about the run game? We're just going to pretend like the run game didn't happen? Like one of my favorite things when I went to the box score says here, right, screw it, I'll pull it up. Pull it up. Dakota 2 says 1, get rid of beer can and baddies. He's not really done anything wrong. He's not really done anything wrong. He's just distracting. He's distracting. I need your attention. I need to talk Tennessee football. I don't care what a Georgia fan has to say, but he's not done anything wrong, and he's here all the time. I was just having fun with him. Corey Aldridge becomes a member of the channel. Shout out Corey, always in the chat, always in the comment section. We appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the support. But when you talk about Nico, he plays bad. You pull up ESPN, you go to the box score. What's the first thing you see right here in the middle? Nico Iamaleava. Let's pretend that you didn't watch the game. All right? Let's pretend that you didn't watch the game at all. You had to go to a wedding. You're mad at your wife because you didn't get to watch the game. So you pull up ESPN, you go to the box score, you see 51-10. Holy smokes, we killed them. Total domination. We absolutely destroyed NC State, 51-10. And then you roll down here to the middle and you read the headline. Nico Iamaleava combines for 276 yards and 3 touchdowns as Tennessee routs NC State, 51-10. You're going Nico for Heisman. Holy smokes, 51-10. Nico for Heisman. He combined for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Heisman Trophy winner. But instead, we as fans, we freak out, we panic, we look at 2 plays, 2 mistakes, and we pretend that this offense was terrible against NC State. We don't want to talk about running for 250 yards. We don't want to talk about averaging 6 yards a carry. We want to talk about 2 throws that Nico would like to have back. And I know I'm not talking about most of you guys. Most of you guys, it's the vocal minority that I feel like I have to educate and lecture and bring up to speed. All right, let's hear more.
Back to middle.
Charlie Gribble, 24/7 Sports. Coach, talk about how big the pick 6 was in the second quarter in terms of a momentum swing.
Momentum swing after the pick. For us, I got to remember the exact flow. Was it the pick that led to that pick? They kicked a field goal right afterwards. Yeah. But it's a 1-score game right there, I think. And, a guy off the edge forcing them, to find a window and huge play by Brooksy. It was a part of the straw that broke the back of them. You know what I mean? It started creating momentum for us. So.
Left, second, right.
Josh Westrucker, 24/7 Sports. A couple things. Do you remember many games you've coached in or played in where the field was kind of tilted the way it was those final 3 quarters? It seemed like the entire thing was played on one half. And then also any update on Tyree West?
Yeah, no update on Tyree. I think he'll be okay, but we'll find out. And then, just from 4th down stops to turnovers, the momentum, it was a completely different game, the last 3 quarters of the football game.
Second row.
Adam Sparks, News Sentinel. Josh, how do you think team morale is impacted when you're playing so many guys and you're rotating so many guys into the game?
Yeah, I think the more guys that are seeing game action, the investment is continues to.
What kind of? I'm sorry, I shouldn't do this. I feel like I do this every freaking week. Hold on, let me rewind it. Hold on a second.
That's into the game.
Second row.
Adam Sparks, News Sentinel.
Adam Sparks, is that who that is? Adam Sparks, is that what he said? Hold on.
The last 3 quarters of the football game.
Second row.
Adam Sparks, News Sentinel. Josh, how do you think team morale is impacted when you're playing so many guys and you're rotating so many guys into the game?
What kind of freaking stupid question is that? What kind of stupid question is that? Who is Adam Sparks? Knoxville News Sentinel? Like, are you looking for a hit piece? What kind of stupid question is that? That's the dumbest. This guy asks stupid questions week in and week out, and I sit here and I tell jokes about it, and I try to be funny about it. That guy's a freaking idiot. How good is it for team morale when you rotate guys? What are you, a clown? What type of question is this? Why are you bringing up team morale? Why are you bringing up team morale when Tennessee is 2-0? Everybody's talking about Nico. Everybody's talking about defense. And Adam Sparks wants to talk about team morale from rotating guys. Are you kidding me? Like, are you just looking for a hit piece? What are you doing, man? What a stupid freaking question. Yeah, Carl, that is exactly who you were looking for, Carl. It's every single press conference. Every press conference. This is what this freaking guy does. Every single time. And I'm tired of sitting here being nice about it. What a freaking stupid question. Oh, no wonder Josh Heupel's mad all the time.
Yeah, I think the more guys that are seeing game action, the investment continues to grow, and they see opportunity. And, I said that to some of the guys that, didn't make the trip here too. It changes from week to week. You continue to invest. You always cash in on it at some point in life and in this game. It's not necessarily when you want it, but when you're ready. If you continue to prepare to be ready for your opportunity, when your opportunity comes, you're ready to take advantage of it. And a lot of our guys that played tonight have been in those types of scenarios.
Back right.
We live in a day and age where at any point in time, the transfer portal, right? Guys can pack their bags, and go somewhere else. And Josh Heupel has created a culture where guys want to work for it. He's created a culture where a guy like Caleb Webb or Chaz Nimrod or even Nathan Laycock could have packed up their bags and gone somewhere else and got playing time. But he has created this culture where these guys want to stay and they want to go to work. And guys like Nathan Laycock are catching 15,000 balls in the offseason to try to get better and try to get their opportunity instead of packing up and leaving town and going somewhere else. Then we got freaking Adam Sparks wanting to bring that up. Freaking give me a break. Coach McGee for 5 says, tell me you don't know football without telling me you don't know football. Coach Jay says they should just walk him out. Like, I get it, man. I get it. I say this, we're for the fans, by the fans, right? But we are on a platform where a lot of people watch. We have a lot of players come through telling the story about, Callie's mom coming up and talking to me. I get it. We're fans, but we are technically media, right? Kind of. Like, I hate saying that, but we're on this platform. A lot of people watch. And we have this conversation off air behind the scenes all the time. Like, we want to stay true to who we are and be passionate, be diehard fans. But it's like, I don't want to just come on here and hammer a kid over and over and over. Like the Will Brooks situation. Everybody laughing and tagging me on Twitter and having fun with it. Like, I get it, because I've said, is Will Brooks, like, who would be better, Will Brooks or Jacoby Thomas? Like, I'm going to be honest. I think Jacoby Thomas would be better at that safety position. Does that mean I don't want Will Brooks to go out and make a play? So I get it. I get it. As a member of the media, you have this responsibility and this balance. But to walk into a press conference and just throw out a loaded question, hoping that you get some type of freaking clickbait headline that you can run back to your office and click, type up your article so people will click on it. Like, Josh Heupel talked about his call. He's got a culture problem. That is all Adam Sparks is doing right there. He is looking for a headline. That's what he's doing. That is the epitome of media. That is why channels like Talkin VAWLS are taking over, because people are sick and tired of that type of media. It's garbage. It's trash. Ask him out. I'm with Coach Jay. Escort him out of the building. Can somebody come get this guy? Can somebody come get Adam Sparks and get him out of the building, please? It's so ridiculous. So ridiculous.
Josh, when you look at Miles Kitselman, kind of where he came in at and now where he's at tonight, with the most catches he's had in his career and getting the end zone with a touchdown, what's he done that's impressed you all and Coach Abel?
Yeah, that tight end room, it's really cool to see those guys all get along, care about each other, be happy when somebody else has success.
Because it's such a stupid question, Josh. It's not a simple question. It's a trap. It's bait. He's trying to trap Josh Heupel into saying something that he will regret, but Josh Heupel's too good for it. He's too good for it. That's why it makes me so mad.
You all and Coach Abel?
Yeah, that tight end room, it's really cool to see those guys all get along, care about each other, be happy when somebody else has success. Miles, a huge part of that. Got great trust in him that he's going to go execute his assignment at a really high level. He's extremely tough mentally and physically, demands it from the guys around him. Extremely high football IQ. Got a really good feel for the game, and it's a huge part of why the guys love him. But that tight end room as a whole, Holden and Ethan, just the continued growth from those guys. It's a really cool vibe inside of that room.
Anyone else? Last question.
Riley Halton, WDK. You now got 2 games in a row with Dylan Sampson over 150 all-purpose yards. What's a guy like that do for you on the offense?
Great trust in Dylan. He's a great leader for us. But you can put him in any position. He's a guy that can have success, and that's pass protection. It's as a runner. It's out in space as a receiver. It's getting him, swing passes, whatever it might be. He's got great skill set.
It's so funny. I was so fired up to watch that press conference because I knew Josh Heupel was mad, and I wanted to figure out why he was mad. And it was because of Rob Lewis. It was because of Rob Lewis. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I was going to be the one that was mad over Adam Sparks. But it's week in and week out. I'm like, why did he ask that? Why did that guy ask that? And I never knew who he was. I think for a long time I thought it was Jimmy Himes. I really think I thought it was Jimmy Himes for a long time. And then Himes retired, and I still keep hearing these dumb questions. But that one takes the cake. That one takes the cake. You're looking for a headline, you're a clown. I don't like it. It is what it is. I call it like I see it. That's what I do around here. I think you guys appreciate it. I hope you guys appreciate the honesty. Anyways, that is going to do it for another morning show. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Going to be dropping a video here within an hour or two, so be on the lookout for that. Should be a fun one. Got some fun clips that I want to take a listen to. As always, if you haven't done it yet, smash that thumbs up on the way out the door. It helps the channel. Go check out the Talkin VAWLS merchandise. If you're not a member of the channel, hit that join button. We need your support. We are on that membership drive. We're close, but still so far away. We need your help. Think about hitting that join button. That is going to do it for this one. See you guys for the video coming up here in a couple of hours. Also, tomorrow night, Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, we're playing EA Sports College Football and talking all things Tennessee football. But that's it. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.
That we call